a dream I know, deep up my feelings for you. Watch.
Hello reality viewers, welcome back again to Reality Latest Gist, the home of news and politics. For this channel, we dey drop news every day and we dey react to every videos wey comes our way. And na reality news now we dey drop for this channel, and we dey also dey talk am as e be. If today na the first time we say you dey come across this channel, you are highly welcome. Thank you so much for stopping by. And if you are returning subscribers, I appreciate all of una for una massive support to this channel. I say may God bless all of una in Jesus name. Amen. I get video wey I want present to una this very moment, and I go to follow una dey watch the video. After we don watch am together, make we drop our opinion constructively for the comment section. Like our videos and also share our videos if possible. Bye for now.
The long-awaited response by Tinubu to the district court in Chicago is here. And going by what we've seen, it seems they've abandoned the issue of privacy. They are no longer arguing that it will violate Tinubu's privacy if the Chicago State University records are released to Atiku. For those who are not aware of this case, let's make a quick recap before we see their reasons for arguing against the release of Tinubu's records at Chicago State University. Before anyone can run for president or any elected position in Nigeria, the person must submit his particulars to the Electoral Commission. And once that person submits those particulars, it becomes public. Anyone or any candidate in the election can subpoena INEC, the Electoral Commission, to provide the documents a candidate submitted. That was exactly what Atiku did. He went to court and got a subpoena, and the electoral body gave him the documents that Tinubu submitted. When he received these documents from the electoral body, he found out that there were inconsistencies in one of the documents that Tinubu submitted. That document is the certificate from Chicago State University. Before Atiku Abubakar subpoenaed the electoral body to provide Tinubu's particulars, one Nigerian lawyer had already done that. But we'll come back to the lawyer's story because Tinubu's counsel actually mentioned the lawyer in their reply to the district court in Chicago. After Atiku Abubakar noticed the discrepancies in the documents Tinubu submitted to the electoral body, he noticed a potential violation of Nigerian laws because according to Nigerian laws, any candidate in any election that provides a forged certificate to the electoral body will stand to be disqualified. Based on this, he included it in the petition he filed at the Presidential Election Petition Tribunal, where he is challenging the declaration of Tinubu as the president. Also challenging the presidential election is the Labour Party candidate Peter Obi, who provided more grounds for disqualification of Tinubu in his petition. Among the many grounds he raised in the petition is the $460,000 that Tinubu forfeited to the United States in 1993. Before Tinubu made the forfeiture in the United States, he was under investigation by the FBI and the DEA. Even the US Customs had already said that his house address in Chicago was a drop-off point for narcotics packages coming from West Africa. So the FBI and the DEA, after conducting their investigation, were able to prove that these monies were proceeds of narcotics trafficking, which of course led to their taking him to court in absentia because he was no longer living in the United States at the time. The judge ordered the forfeiture of the $460,000. Now, back to Atiku on how he ended up in district court in Chicago, asking the court to order the subpoena so that Chicago State University will provide the admission records of Tinubu. When Atiku argued in the Nigerian court that is hearing the presidential election petition that Tinubu wasn't qualified to contest the presidential election, Tinubu's lawyers argued that he should provide proof to support what he said, that he should show reason why Tinubu isn't qualified, which means he should prove that he allegedly forged the certificate. That was how Atiku ended up in Chicago. Before Atiku went to Chicago, he had already called a witness who presented the evidence in the Nigerian court. Among the evidence the witness presented are documents they got from the electoral body that Tinubu submitted to them while he was filing his documents. Also, the documents they got from Chicago State University, that's the certificate. One interesting thing happened when they got that certificate from Chicago State University. After receiving the certificate from Chicago State University, they instantly confirmed that it's quite different from the one Tinubu submitted. So they wanted them to make a comment. Is this certificate from you? You know, that kind of thing, because it's quite different from the one they gave them. So they proceeded and gave them the one that Tinubu submitted. And immediately the Chicago State University representative saw it. He said, no, hey, there's a problem. Please disregard all the documents we've given you. In fact, destroy them. There's been a problem. We'll come in, you know, started giving excuses. So they wondered, why would the university do this? They were subpoenaed to provide a certificate of one of their students. They did that, but when they were shown a forged one by the same student, they started giving excuses, saying that the one they already submitted under subpoena is a wrong one, that there was mistake, you know, a lot of things. So evidently, it looks like Chicago State University is trying to cover something up. Why will they now deny and say that what they submitted was the wrong one? Because they didn't see the forged one. So it's quite complicated. Yes, the reason Chicago State University is doing this is not far-fetched, because this information is public knowledge already. They've released this school record to David Hundeyin and his associates. That was last year. He released that information. But for formality's sake, the way you present evidence in Nigerian court, that's why Atiku is in Chicago. Atiku got a subpoena from a lower court, but instead of Chicago State University honoring that subpoena, they decided to call Tinubu. That was why he hired 5 lawyers and asked the court to be joined in the litigation. By the way, one of his lawyers is named Oluwole. People from Nigeria will understand what this name means. But for people who don't know, Oluwole is referred to something fake. When you say this one is Oluwole, it means this one is fake or is forged. What a coincidence. The reason for this backstory is to make sure everyone understands, because the last video, many people didn't understand. They were saying, why will a US court decide what is happening in West Africa or in Nigeria? No, it's not that. It's just because Chicago State is involved. Tinubu went to Chicago State University, but surprisingly, he's blocking his school records. And after his lawyers argued in court that his privacy will be violated if his school records are released to Atiku, the court gave him until yesterday, the 23rd of August, to prove to the court and make reasonable argument why the academic records will not be released to Atiku. Now, back to the response of Tinubu's lawyers. They said that Atiku is only challenging the election, that Tinubu's records he's seeking from Chicago State University has nothing to do with the election petition he's challenging in court. Of course, going by all the narration, you will understand why it is essential, especially when you know that this man has a history of certificate scandals or forgeries. When he was governor of Lagos State, in the documents he filed with the electoral body, he claimed to have attended a non-existent secondary school. When it was discovered, he said that it wasn't him that filled the documents, that it was one of his associates. Yes, admitted that it was a mistake, but he never filled in the correct school. Up to today, going by the documents he filed when he was contesting the presidential election, he left both the primary and secondary schools positions blank. So you can understand how far he can go to cover up his past. In trying to convince the judge in the U.S. District Court to block the release of Tinubu's records from Chicago State University, Tinubu's counsel told the judge that since Atiku is just challenging the results of the election, that the school records seems to be for another litigation altogether, and that Atiku is not part of that litigation. They are just mixing everything up in order to confuse the judge. Hopefully, when Atiku's lawyer replies, they will set the record straight. The truth is, Atiku can still tender this evidence in court. It will no longer be at the presidential election petition because they are in deep deliberation right now. Everyone is awaiting their judgment. But definitely, like other litigations, it will go to the appeal. And the appeal is the Supreme Court of Nigeria. And going by Supreme Court rules in Nigeria, any party can still present evidence. The more they try to hide that information that Atiku is seeking, the more it arouses curiosity of people. They should know, everyone, his lawyers, the judge, everyone, even the Chicago State University staff, they should know that there is an issue of potential identity theft. They wouldn't want to help an impersonator hide the evidence. This is because it is obvious that the person that Chicago State University admitted in the 70s was a female and an American citizen. That person is not the same as Tinubu we know in Nigeria. And Chicago State University made that information public when they answered to a subpoena in the past. That was last year. So there's nothing to hide. All of you guys involved, the Chicago State guys, you didn't commit any crime. Don't commit a new one if you help someone to hide evidence. Also, Tinubu's lawyers telling the court that Atiku is not an interested party is somewhat laughable. Elections apart, if someone submits a forged document to an institution, that institution has the right to go to the university or the maker of the document to verify the authenticity. That's exactly what the lawyer did last year. He came to Chicago State University, they honored the subpoena, he received the documents and went to court. That's exactly what Atiku is doing, so he's an interested party. Atiku was a candidate in the presidential election alongside Tinubu and Peter Obi and other candidates. So he has every right to seek ways to disqualify a candidate who is an impostor. Yes, not only that, he was involved in narcotics trafficking and money laundering, and the election was flawed. You can check out the EU report on the election. In fact, Nigeria fell short of the standard they set in 1993. That's 30 years ago. Despite all the technology deployed in this election and spending $500 million to conduct the presidential election, they still found a way to rig the elections by blocking the upload of the results in real time. So it's not true that Atiku is not part of the litigation. It is actually one of the grounds for disqualification of a candidate if it is determined that he forged a certificate. It is there in Nigerian laws. So it is hoped that Atiku's lawyers will write a convincing report to the judge, and the judge will understand one rule in law. If a party is hiding evidence, he is actively blocking evidence. That means the evidence is injurious to him. And in such a situation, the judge should move with prejudice and grant the subpoena without delay. Thanks for watching.
So if you did right, wanna still leave on a comment below. If you did bad, wanna still leave on a comment below. Wanna remember, say everybody gets freedom of speech. Okay? Alright. Thank you very much.